Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio. Discover your spiritual gifts live.
Welcome to Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, show number 61. We're your hosts, Dave and
Vialet.
Our guest today is Kim Conrad. Kim is an innovative leader in the field of personal transformation and trauma release therapy. A gifted intuitive and healer from the time she was born, she has brought her life-enhancing perspectives and techniques to help people come out better than they've ever been. Having rebuilt her body and her life 3 times, she knows what it's like to make it through anything. She also has a proven biological age reversal program, not anti-aging, that supports the body to gently clear away the effects of any trauma a person has experienced. The results have been called remarkable. An award-winning author and speaker, Kim has been called a pioneer of language, and her voice referred to as a healing medicine by clients, workshop attendees, and those that experience her meditations. She combines her gifts with her master's in psychology, expertise in numerous healing modalities, and her theatrical background for fun, insightful, and impactful sessions, events, and workshops. And a little PS, she's bungee jumped twice, not so great at darts, and has been known to hit a golf ball backwards. Yay! Welcome, Kim. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here and appreciate the invitation. It's great to see you both again.
So tell me about the bungee jumping. I have to start there. So
when and where did
jumping? You do that?
Oh my goodness. I'm one of those people that feels pulled over with heights, going out, outside facing elevators or being at the edge of the Grand Canyon. I laid on my tummy to look over the edge, and had somebody hold my feet. I was at I guess you'd call it a county fair. And I was watching people of all ages. This first time was 13 floors up, 160 feet, 130 feet, something like that. And I was watching everybody jump off this platform. Well, the platform looks a lot closer when you're on the ground than when you're up there. And everybody was fine, and they were coming off and they were being fine. And they pick a cable that is for your weight and your size and all that stuff. And I was going, and I understand you want to, especially for women, you want to wear a blouse that is really tucked far into your pants. Otherwise, it can be a very interesting situation. And that the blouse keeps going down and you go back up. And so I chose to do it, and I went up there and and they tie it around your feet, and boy, it's a heck of a lot of trust. And I stood there and I became connected to the field, to the air, on all the way down. I reached all the way down so I could feel the ground as well as the sky. And then I went, you go ahead first and God bless, and it was like being a human zoom lens. You go toward the ground and gently go back up and go toward, and I could open my eyes and close my eyes, and it was very gentle on my body, but I don't know that I'd do it again.
Okay.
And the second time was different. I got strapped. There were 2 of us in seats next, and they strapped us into an front open, but caged thing. It was attached to, I'd call them long, big rubber bands, and they tightened and tightened and tightened them until you ended up being flung up into the air. And I opened my eyes once, and the Ferris wheel was right side up, and I opened my eyes again, and the Ferris wheel was upside down, and I just both of us had fun screaming during that one. and and then came out fine, you know. And there was a person that was, I guess he's designed to be an acrobat, but as he was on the bungee that you jump off of the platform, he was flipping and flopping and turning somersaults, and oh my God, I'm glad he enjoys that. He looked great. I'll do that in the water, but not in the air. Yeah.
I'm nauseous just thinking about it. I'm just
amazing
nauseous
experiences.
thinking about it.
And I'm very happily going on to other experiences. Thank you. Yeah.
Dave will watch you bungee jump. How's that?
Okay.
Well, the closest I've come, and probably the only time that I'll ever do it, was on top of the Stratosphere in Las Vegas. They have a reverse bungee jump. It's a big spire, and they put you in a seat, and there's 4 seats on each side, so there's 16 people total that can do it. And they essentially cock it and then release it, and it shoots up. And
oh my goodness,
the view is fantastic because you're hitting over 1,100 feet looking around town. And but then you get that feeling, you say, wait a second, pretty soon I'm going to hit the top of this, and I'm going to be weightless for a moment, and my stomach's going to feel funny. And yeah, sure enough, you hit that, then you come back down, then you bounce, and they allow you to bounce about 4 or 5 cycles before they lower you. And that was enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad I did it, and I'm happy to let other people do it now. Yes.
Oof.
Yeah. So.
Well,
Yeah.
you're both inspirations. I don't think I could do that. So I have this thing with heights. So I can't get on a Ferris wheel. So I know I can't do that. I mean, I have tried to overcome that, and I have a really hard time. So I'll let you guys fly through the air.
Well, thank you. My next thing, and I have no idea if or when, will be to tandem skydive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not by myself. Thank you very much. Mm-mm.
No.
But tandem. Yeah.
Well, that's a wonderful lead-in with all these, where you talk about trauma release therapy, and for people who go through the traumas of bungee jumping.
Yeah, I've rebuilt my body and my life 3 times. I've been an outcast and picked on growing up, had a lot of health issues. I had 2 parents that smoked, and in those days, we didn't know how much of a health challenge I was. And I would get sick a lot, and I was pumped with antibiotics and things like that. And then I was assaulted by multiple assailants when I was very young. And I was misdiagnosed by doctors in my early 20s, when what I had was hypoglycemia, sugar issues, which is on one side of the family, and a hypothyroid, which is on the other side of the family, and labeled as psychological issues, when what it was physical and dietary shifts, and then I was fine. And then at 51, and I have a chapter in Chicken Soup for the Soul, Recovering from Traumatic Brain Injuries book. I was honored to be in that book, where I had a serious car accident and a head injury, and neck injuries, and ended up just last December with a hip replacement because my foot was on the brake. In my half-ton truck at that time, we were in rush hour traffic, and everybody stopped except for the 1-ton commercial truck behind me that rear-ended my stopped half-ton truck at about 30, 40 miles an hour, enough to bend the frame of the truck. So I seemed to, and head injuries and having PTSD from being assaulted and all kinds of stuff. The little, I call it hell on wheels, and the opportunity of a lifetime. That the determination and the fortitude that is required to access to really 2 platforms of living for me are coming out better than you've ever been, no matter what's happened, because it's possible, and creating greater value than any cost. And I've been through so much and done so much personally and studied so much is ways to support others to not have to have it be as hard or as long, to have another breath of life and a sense of fresh air and possibility. And that the traumas are not who we are. Our reactions and our survival tactics are not who we are. Those are challenges and imprinting and there's a phenomenal blueprint of life that is you, that is all of life, no matter what you've been trained to think, feel, or anything. There's an amazing, remarkable human being that is your blueprint. Yeah. So it's really, there's techniques, there is, and this was unexpected for me. You can go to, it'll be live later today or tomorrow, www.reverseagingtoday.com. And I've been wanting and searching and knowing that it was possible to not only help us reverse age, but in the cleansing of the blood that happens in using this high frequency, toxin-free, organic plant extract spray that's a combination of 44 plants that gives the body the ability to cleanse to the microcirculation. And what's been a remarkable surprise for me is that this literal experience of myself and watching clients and friends, that those emotional and psychological that happen really cause and or are reflections of toxic buildup in our bodies. And when the body is supported to be able to cleanse unlike anything I've ever seen, I'm watching myself and others that we don't have to go through the work of 21, 31, 61 days, whatever the programs are, to develop new patterns. We don't have to work as hard. Doesn't mean you don't also do that, but it's not as hard and as challenging. And that there doesn't seem to be the flashbacks or the emotional reliving of things. It's as if all of those toxins with the memories are dissolving, so that we're becoming more relaxed, more comfortable. Places where we got locked up. A young gal that I'm coaching on financial matters could not do a budget. She just couldn't go there. Couldn't. Looking at, she would go into fight or flight. Just couldn't do it. And we likely, all of us have places in our lives where it's like, yeah, we do that. And she'd been doing, it's called I Hercules. They spell it in a very interesting way, so I won't tend to describe it on the recording, but you can go to the website for a while. And then she got, her body wanted more. And when she upped the amount of sprays, all you do is spray it under your tongue. It's the simplest thing I've ever seen. Spray it under your tongue 15 minutes before you eat, 1 to several times a day. That all of a sudden, after a few days of increasing the spray, she sat down and did her budget, and there was no issue. And we can have financial conversations now. There may be a little concern, but we're able to walk through any conversations and any restructuring without tears and wanting to run away from the call and the session. And my arthritis is going away. I'm more calm. I'm able to converse and set goals and achieve them more easily. My gray hair is going away. I'm feeling and looking a lot younger because I was getting old too fast. But all of that stuff that had been built up over the years is like just wafting away, I guess might be. I'm looking for words to describe it. I haven't landed on something I really like best. But does that give a a good idea. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. There's so many people who metaphorically are dragging around chains attached to great big heavy boxes behind them with all of these things that they feel define them. And I think part of the problem is that they don't know, if I was going to let go of that, who would I be? How would people know me? What would define me? What's my persona if I give up even those traumatic things? And so I think that people have a lot of problem with that.
Yeah, you brought up, I think, a really great point, in that we've been brought up, I think, societally to be conditioned. I don't think necessarily with any ill intent, but to believe that our compensatory strategies are really who we are. That that's really our personality, when it's really all the amazing and masterful ways that in that moment we're wisely taking care of us, that long term can be very costly to the quality of our life. You know, those Groundhog Days, they keep going, hello, I'm still here, you know. And I think that's because the toxins are still living in our bodies from all of the work that I've done and what I'm now seeing. That when we start identifying ourselves that way, which is totally understandable, that we usually are up in our headspace. And when we have the ability or are supported to just be still, mindfulness is very helpful. We can get this sense of greater connection, not only with ourselves, but the world, and come into a deeper resonance within ourselves, where we're not all those stories. And so I invite clients and stuff to have a Geiger counter, that to feel the energy when it rises up to the head, because then we get more anxious, and then there's all the stories, and you know, and is it a story, or is it really like the chair? You know, like I've got another client that gets really nervous with big financial numbers. And she said, oh, well, that's hard for me to compute. And I said, well, what if you said it's 9 numbers? It's 9 numbers in a row. Are you as concerned now? She went, no. I said, so just find ways to describe it where you're being more factual, rather than, oh, that's too big for me to, then you've got all these stories that go along with it. Just, there's a 3, there's a 0, there's a 9, there's a, and all of a sudden it's not so. The other thing would be fearful, and I was going to say fearful, and then I went, an acronym that I love for fear, instead of false expectation appearing real, is face everything and rise. Because then you have an action. Yeah.
One of the things that I've used as sort of a thought exercise for some of my clients, when they're, especially if they're women and they've been traumatized as children or teens, is I say, let's just suppose tomorrow morning you get up and your memory is blank. You know enough to do your job, but you go to the front door, you go get the newspaper, and it's a brand new day and you don't remember anything of the past. How would your life be different? And it opens doors for them to think about how their life would be different if they didn't keep defining every day by what happened to them in the distant past.
That's a great way of doing it. I think that's a phenomenal way of doing it. And when we share things like you just did, with there's not an energy of agenda or anything else, that it too is being shared in a neutral way. So the concept then becomes something neutral for them to go, that it's indeed, unless we carry the stories along with us and decide to pick up the bag of stories with us every day, then they don't need to be there. It's only because we're used to picking up the bag and going, oh, this is part of me getting dressed today. I'm used to picking up this bag. So yeah, part of me wants to go, can I borrow that?
Yours.
Yeah.
I
mean, I've done other stuff like it, but that's really a neat way, and I appreciate who you be when you share that, because I think that in the who you be gives the space as well as the words. It's when history no longer lives within us, either because we pick up the bag every day or because it's still lodged in our circulation, and I Hercules gives a chance to, it's the best thing I've ever seen to help the body really cleanse and do what it's designed to do. So that, I guess I'll share a little more, so that what happens is then the immune system has clearer vision because things are clearer. There's not as much garbage, if you will, or debris laying around. So it can target aging cells and unhealthy cells faster and remove them, and then create new cells in the presence of this high frequency plant nutrition. Then the new cells are stronger, the stem cells are stronger, and actually have longer telomeres. So then the stem cells can go anywhere. And when that happens, then all of the owies of the past get reorganized. I love that reorganized word. So when you combine things like what you just spoke of, or I spoke of, and ways of thinking of things and feeling of things differently, perceiving differently, with something that can actually support the body to cleanse itself as it's designed to, oh my gosh, the stuff that starts happening is amazing.
Does it bring to surface? So the person comes to you and they're focused on this trauma, right? And you start working this process. Does it bring other things up that they may not know or realize that are under that they get an understanding? Or does it just start to release things?
Great question. Everyone is different. And what I like doing is checking in with somebody and sharing different options of ways of approach, and also letting them know that we can change direction and support and shift to accommodate, to create greater comfort and strength and presence with whatever starts to happen, so that it can be navigated and customized to what's ever best for them. What I'm finding is, and it's really different for everybody. I mean, if somebody simply wants to start with something that I'm done with this, I'm ready to be done with this, please, it's time. And they want to begin only with processes. If somebody wants to, and I can muscle test too. So I can muscle test I Hercules. And we can even muscle test what direction. I mean, there's all types of modalities, whether it's tapping or Psych K, or there's other activities. I simply see there's energy work. I'm Reiki master. There's many things. But it's really about, and we can use the wisdom of a person's body to muscle test as to where to begin. Or they may just be drawn, and to know that, and we can wire in, whether it's tapping or Psych K, that they're safe now, that there's four walls and a thing, and this is not happening. It's still living in the system at the moment, because otherwise it wouldn't be going good morning. And that we can navigate and have them experience the freedom that's calling them. Otherwise they wouldn't be here with me. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a little break here. We'll be right back with Kim, and please stay with us as we talk about a little bit of discover your spiritual gifts. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Violet Rain, Master Teacher of the Akashic Records series of classes here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. If you've been interested in the Akashic Records are the life book or the etheric records of everything that we've ever thought, spoken, done, all of our contracts, relationships since we left Source. It is a valuable resource of information that people are able to tap into to get clarity, to get guidance, just to find out why things are the way they are in their life. The Akashic really helps us do that. This is a great series of classes if you're already getting intuitive information, meaning you're either getting visuals or you're hearing things or you just know things or you feel things. This is a great class to step into to amplify the information that you're receiving from a higher level of source versus just your intuition. If you'd like to find out more about my series of classes for the Akashic Records, please check out on our website under classes and look for Akashic Record Certification. I hope to see you in class, or I hope to see you at the center here at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.
Welcome back to Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, show number 61, with our guest, Kim Conrad. Let's talk some more, Kim, about how you actually work with people on in a session when somebody presents themselves.
Great question. And I'm extremely intuitive, and even that, in answer to begin to answer your question, I invite us both to take a pause, and to breathe. Because there can be anxiousness, there can be wondering what the session is going to be about, or it's going to be like, or how's it going to be when I leave, and especially if it's first session. So, we can touch base so that they know that there's options and that there's, and like just happened and you both chuckled. I mean, I play, I do humor too. I may even make funny faces on occasion, but basically it's checking into where they are. And there may be initially certain activities that, whether it's breathing, whether there's like doing an elongated infinity symbol on the floor. There's different ways of helping balance the nervous system so that they're in a more calm place to go, okay, I'm okay in this moment. And yeah, I get we can do this, rather than coming in right away and then you start without. So there's a foundation, and then they can learn different things they can do even before coming, or they can do when they get home to support them as things surface, and to know that they are not what's surfacing. It's coming up to leave. It's not coming up to be something negative or destructive for you. Again, it's coming up to leave. And we can experience stuff sometimes. The benefits with iHercules and reverseagingtoday.com is that when it works for somebody, it seems to just support over time and make things easier altogether. In regards to processing, it can involve tapping, it can involve psychological kinesiology, it can involve, I work a lot intuitively. I've done things that are similar to Bert Hellinger's constellation to help them go back through the generations. I did that with a client. There was some sort of programming, and I don't want to describe too much about this particular client, but there was some very deep programming that we got that went back 9 generations. So I had her, we created 9 slips of paper, and she wrote the names or the generation, and we laid them on the floor. And we got to start 9 generations ago. And she had conversations and we did processes until she was ready to go to the 8th and the 7th and come all the way back around to today to just really, and it was like all the relatives, we could see them cheering or something. To really, and it took a couple sessions was the timing for her to come to today, and she ended up feeling more whole, more complete, more present, and not like she was carrying as much baggage anymore. So there's the studio that I work in. I do Zoom calls too. I can do phone. There's a studio that I have in Westminster, and there's even a chakra light table that you can lay on that really supports the integration of all your chakras. And I can do processes and energy work while you're laying on that table, as well as just laying on the table and allowing integration to occur. And even like you talked about, well, I don't want to let this go because that's really who I think I am, and blah, 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 that we can do balances and things so that it becomes okay to let go of who you thought you were, to become who you're now really designed to be. Mm-hmm. And it's all of a sudden, it's just okay to do that because we've done balances and tapping and so forth to address that, because that's important to address. You're not trying to hang on to something while you're trying to let it go. That doesn't work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazyville. Yeah, and drive you nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, share with us a little bit about your book, Vice Versa, because I want us to have an opportunity for you to read something from your book. So talk to us a little bit about your book and what brought it to you and what you've seen occur with this. Share.
Well, thanks so much. And I found out this morning before we started that you bought my book, like, I don't know, a few years ago, and are a fan. And I just went, oh, that's so good. I really appreciate that. That making a difference in the world and inspiring is like a driver for me. And I performed my writing, which is mainly in poetic format, but there I do prose as well at the moment, at like the National Peace Alliance Conference in Washington or the Global Healing Conference in Bali, where I had the honor of meeting Desmond Tutu, and just amazing stuff. And Vice Versa Verse is the name of it. You can go to kimconrad.com and you'll see it there. And if you order it through my website, there's a soft cover and links to ebooks. But if you order the soft cover through my website, kimconrad.com, then I will write you I'll sign it in a personal way with your name. And it's only $19.95, I think is the price. And it comes with 77 inspirational verses and 16 audio tracks CD. So you can actually listen to my recitations, and I can do different voices. I can do funny stuff, but I can do very soothing. I mean, a little bit of an Irish lilt, I like doing that voice a lot. But there's a way that I can speak. There's even I'll do another little plug if that's okay. We turned Being For, BEINGFOR, that I performed at the Peace Alliance Conference in Washington. We turned it, by the time the fifth person said, you have to turn this into a video, I finally got the message and said, okay, all right, I got it. And we turned it into a video. So that inspirational video is only about 5-6 minutes. And you can find it at, I'll spell it, www.rebrand.ly/BEINGFOR, being for. And so the book, I'm honored, has sold almost 1,000 copies, which is really cool. I've won a couple awards for it, which I'm honored, very, very much so. And I get people just say it's been life-changing, it's calming, it's soothing, I'm clear-headed. I'm going, okay, then what I was intending and feeling and sensing and following to do it is happening. And I'm very grateful. And when you talk about, oh gosh, there's categories in love and acceptance and all kinds of stuff. And I could share it. This one isn't that long, but it might fit for today, called The Risk Taker. And then a short little guy. Great question. Now that I did that, now I'm having a brain void. I'll look at the contents in a moment. But would you like me to share The Risk Taker right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So for listeners, I invite you to just put your feet on the ground and sit in your chair or stand. Eyes closed or open, whatever works for you. And this is the risk taker. How much of a risk taker are you to sail on as yet unknown seas and swim in uncharted waters? To risk, to say hello, to touch your heart that has been waiting all this time while your brain took care of you, unknowingly getting you ready to risk the adventure of 1,000 feelings, being fully connected, living whole as an alive, holy human, arriving home to yourself after a long designed isolation, arriving home to the wholeness that has always been patiently waiting until you were ready to experience being remembered. You are the one you have always been waiting for. We here on earth are the ones we have always been waiting for. And this world is the one we have always been waiting for. The time of rendezvous has come. All of our hearts and all of our souls are being remembered. The pain to sustain feeling dismembered is now greater than the birth of being remembered. So risk. Just choose to risk. Just choose and be remembered. And know that as you choose, we all are being remembered. It's time. It's time because we are an idea whose time has come. There you go.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Thank you.
That's very awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you sharing with us today. I love your book and I love the meditations. I think I've had it for 5 years or more. I must have got it at the very beginning. I met you at one of the expos and came to your booth and purchased it way back then. So it is definitely in my library. So it's very moving, very inspirational, very connected. So I love that.
Yep. Thank you. Yeah. I guess if I may, a short little one. It's do not be afraid to go into the depths of your challenges. Actually, you know what? I may not, if you can hold on a sec. I was going to the conclusion, not to the, oh geez, now through the cracks. Oh, this is a funny one. It has to be a verbal one. It's through the cracks, it's through the cracks that the light can shine through, Mm-hmm. So I wrote, it's through the cracks that the light can shine through, or you could just decide to take your top off. Well, we may just move on. There it is. I found it. Okay. It's called It's Our Nature. And it's a very short one, but it feels appropriate, if that's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's our nature. Did you know, just like the rest of nature, we are meant to bloom again after a hard winter? And very often, the harder the winter, the bigger the blooms. Do not be afraid to go into the depths of your challenges with love, confidence, and trust, and come out even bigger at the end.
Ooh, that is wonderful. Especially after the last couple years, right?
Right.
We've felt like we've been in the darkness, right? In that space. And I know everyone's trying to figure out what's next. I think all of us have experienced major changes in our lives and trying to figure out what we did before, how we do it differently, because that's what we're being challenged to do. So I love that. I love that. Miss Kim, I really appreciate you being on our show today. We will post your websites and your contact information so people can contact you for sessions, to order your book, to see your video. We'll do all that so they have access to connect with you. Dave and I will both be out at the expo this weekend, so we'll stop by your booth and say hi. We'll be out there all weekend long, huh, Mr. Dave?
Absolutely. Yes, that's always such a relaxing 3-day experience. I go home just totally refreshed.
I'll take some of that. And I just wanted to say thank you both again. It's a pleasure. And I thank you both for doing what you're doing and putting these podcasts out there to help us all in each of our own ways move forward. And for everybody to know that you're of value. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You know?
Well, it's nice to help people out there understand that there's nothing so deep and so dark and so dastardly or just horribly black in their background that you can't work with it, bring it out into the light, learn to deal with it, find a way to release it. And there's people out there who can help you. And you don't have to just resign yourself to the fact that, something really bad happened in my life one time, and I am stuck with that, and that is my defining moment. No, you can move on to a different defining moment.
Absolutely. You get to define your moments each and every day. You bet.
I love that. And I always put energy out there that the people that need to hear these, the people that need to connect with these, that they find them and find their way, right? Because, we want those people that are seeking answers or just curious to be able to find these. So, yeah. And know that everybody is able to have a joyful and abundant life and go through healing and release some of this stuff and create really new and wonderful things. I really believe that. And I've seen it over and over again. So thank you for what you do and what Dave does, that we're able to help people kind of find themselves again in a healthy way. So thanks for being on the show today.
Yes,
You're welcome.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll look forward to continuing the party this weekend and going on from there.
Absolutely. So for our listeners, thank you for being with us today. You can contact Kim through her websites, www.kimconrad.com or www.reverseagingtoday.com. Please stay with us for some messages from several of our practitioners at DYSG. You'll probably find them very informative. Have a great week and take care.
Hi, my name's Heather McCormick-Ramey, and I'm a medium and energy healer. I love helping people connect deeply with spiritual messages, with ancestors, and all of that amazing support that is surrounding them. Now, Spirit started working with me at a very young age. And as I created more and more space for those messages to come through, it's been a really life-changing experience. And this is what I offer to my clients. So if you're interested in mediumship, look to book at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. I'm there as a reader, and I also have practitioner hours as an energy healer. With the energy healing, I help my clients bust through limiting beliefs and really live their soul-aligned life. So please reach out to Discover Your Spiritual Gifts if you're interested in learning more and connecting deeply with your soul's purpose and spirit. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Hi, my name is Tiffany, and I am an intuitive person along with being a meditation and Qigong teacher. I have traveled the world to meet amazing teachers, and they have taught me all about Qi energy and the Taoist way. Now, these teachers taught me a beautiful practice called Sum Thought meditation. Now, this is an ancient Chinese wisdom of understanding the Dantian energy elixir. And I'm telling you, this energy elixir is crazy powerful. This ancient Taoist Chinese practice has changed my life, and I want to share this transformational energy with you. Do you want to heal mind, body, spirit? Do you want to break and change old patterns that hold you back? Do you want to open up your heart chakra and move more love into your life? Do you want more joy in just being you? Do you want to tap into your higher self? Then come explore this ancient Taoist wisdom with me. This isn't just a meditation class. We connect, we move, we explore, and we create. Come join me every Monday morning from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. I look so forward to seeing you there.
Hi, my name is Heather Nichols. I'm a soul journey coach and the owner of Soulful Essence and Wellbeing. For the past several years, I've been on a quest to fulfill my full purpose of healing my past so I may learn to love myself unconditionally. I want to show others how they can do the same thing for themselves. My journey officially began in 2015. I became a Reiki master teacher to be a conduit of healing for myself and others. And I've always had an interest in hypnosis and self-development. And I finally stepped forward in my passion and found a program that helped me release negative emotions that were keeping me stuck in my past. I became a certified practitioner in this wonderful program and later studied Akashic records and many other healing modalities. I'm beginning my new class series starting in March, and this class is for people who are ready to release emotional trauma and blocks from their past. This can be from past lives or this life. During this class, we'll explore what impact anger, sadness, fear, hurt, and guilt has in our lives, how we react to people and situations because of our state of mind, why it's important to forgive ourselves and others. Then it's time to release. And we'll use time techniques to release anger and sadness, a guided meditation to release additional negative emotions, and I'll be giving you a workbook so that you can journal about your experiences. The class schedule is from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on the following days: Saturday, March 14th, Saturday, April 11th, Sunday, May 24th, Saturday, June 13th, Sunday, July 19th, Saturday, August 15th. And you can register at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Facebook, Meetup, or Eventbrite, or at Soulful Essence and Wellbeing on Facebook. You can also register on my website at Soulful Essence, the letter N, wellbeing.com/classes. I look forward to seeing you in my class.
Discover connection, awaken sacredness, become empowered. Join us for our show on Blog Talk Radio.